Welcome back to the University of Life and Identity 101. Today we're on layer 5, personal power. Now in layer 4, we're going to discuss how your life experiences define you. But first, in layer 5, we'll explore how your sense of empowerment determines your life experiences in the first place. In other words, when you feel empowered, you do things different, and you do different things than when you don't. You tend to do the things you really want to rather than just things you have to or feel comfortable with. Usually when I mention the word power to people, they only think of masculine power, which means force, control, strength, and authority. But that's only one of over a dozen types of power that we'll discuss in this layer. I believe the other types of power, especially power over yourself and your thoughts and actions, are far more important than power or influence over others. So let's begin with 3 questions for you to consider. Question 1, what would you do if you weren't afraid or uncomfortable and you were filled with motivation, you had no internal limitations? You should probably take a minute and write down your answers. Raise your awareness of these things. Get to know yourself better. Question 2, how many of those things have you actually done? Those 2 questions give you a pretty good hint as to how empowered or disempowered you feel. Question 3, do you feel powerful? Do you believe you can do things and your efforts will matter? So far we've looked at how powerful you feel or have felt in the past, but now let's review one of the many ways you can increase your sense of personal power, and I'll introduce this with a story. This is from early elementary school. I was not athletic or popular. On May Day in first grade, I remember lining up at the starting line for a 100-foot race with about 20 other students. The grass was green and dancing in a light breeze. The sun shone brightly overhead on a perfect bluebird sky. The starting gun went off, and by the time the other kids crossed the finish line, I was only halfway there, so I just turned to the side and melted into the crowd. But if I had an elementary school sports highlight reel, there would be at least 3 moments on it. Once in 5th grade, we were playing baseball with a tennis ball, and I swung the bat and I hit that tennis ball right on the end of the bat and knocked the ball into the street, which I don't think anyone had done before that. Once while playing first base in kickball, the ball got kicked straight to me and I jumped up in the air and caught it, which was 1 out, and then I landed on the base before the runner could tag up, which was out number 2, and the inning ended in a split second. Once I was simply standing in right field when an invisible dust devil ruffling the grass ran right over me and lifted my hair in the air momentarily. A few other kids saw it, and the whole school spent the next 2 weeks chasing these dust devils, trying to recreate that experience. During those early triumphs, despite my general lack of ability, my perspective and sense of empowerment changed, at least for the moments while it lasted. I felt cool, I felt appreciated, and even respected. I felt accomplished. In short, my state changed, which means my state of mind, my state of emotion, basically my state of being. And state is a very powerful tool that you can use to your advantage. I eventually learned to ski and play soccer, hockey and ultimate, ride motorcycles, rock climb, and many other sports rather well, but my persistent state of being changed only after I accumulated enough experiences and evidence, like from smoothly threading a line of moguls right below the ski lift while everyone around watched me, or scoring 7 goals in 1 soccer game, or learning to ride wheelies on my dirt bike. The point is that your state does not depend on reality, but the way you experience it. And the more often you generate a state of empowerment, the more likely it is to persist that way. And that's what you're after, right? Your homework, if you choose to accept it, which you'd be crazy not to, frankly, is to remember a few events, a few things that you did that you performed really well, and dwell on those things. Do your best to generate a state of empowerment, of feeling awesome and on top of the world and capable, and like you can do it, like you can handle life, you can do what you want. Use these memories to catapult you into a state of empowerment and really feel it and make it as real as you can. The more often and the more deeply you experience this state, the more it'll stick and become part of you, and then the more experiences you'll have which will reinforce it. Earlier I mentioned a dozen other sources of empowerment and ways that you can increase your sense of personal power. And if you'd like to know more about those, I think you know what to do. Subscribe, share, comment, like. That's the only way I know whether you really appreciate these, because I enjoy making them, and if you enjoy watching them, then I will make plenty more for you. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time. Until then, live smart, live happy.